Hello, this is Gilgamesh. I want to talk about this movie, Late Night with the Devil. What a movie! I mean, it's really a fantastic movie. This is the cast, by the way, and gotta give it to them. Everybody in this movie is fantastic, um, and how it starts out, it's like I think it starts out. It's supposed to be the beginning of it. It's all narrated by Michael Ironside. Yeah, he's a great he does a great job narrating it. He points out that Jack and Madeline, they started this night owl talk show. He signed a contract, and brings up that he went to the Grove, um, which is Bohemian Grove. Yeah, and then his wife got sick in 1977 and she passed away. And then he spurned all attention and went away for about a month, came back, and it's Halloween. This is 1977 is when this, and it's done like a documentary, and when they're not on camera, everything's in black and white, like you're behind the scenes of a talk show. And it is, and the thing about Jack Delray is that his talk show, Night Owls, he can't seem to beat Johnny Carson. And it's the 70s, and Johnny Carson was the biggest thing on TV. And give it to the cast, they're amazing. Everybody's great in this, and I'm going to say right now, this is my favorite character, Carmichael Hunt. He's a former magician turned skeptic. And yeah, and you just have a great cast. Ingrid, she plays Lily, who was in a cult, and essentially, and then you have June. She's the one, that brings Lily there, and yeah, this guy right here, found out he's Lebanese. He's from Lebanon, and he plays Christoph, this psychic, and so essentially, Jack's come back, and he brings that crew who goes over to the crowd. He does what most fake psychics do. They go, there's a letter. I'm getting a letter, P or something. He gets to this one guy in the crowd who stands up and he starts, and he mentions his wife, and he thinks he goes, well, that'd be kind of hard because she ran out on me about 5 months ago with my neighbor. He goes, well, that's fine because my golf game's been better. Everybody's laughing at this guy. And he says, another name goes, no, my wife's name is Helen. And then points out his name. He goes, and essentially, Krusta, then tries to downplay that he's a complete fraud by going, oh, I've got another, and he brings up, and then suddenly he grabs his head like this, his eyes sort of go white, and he's saying the name. And it's, with the wedding ring and everything. And I'm just going to tell you, it sort of made me think of Jack, because he's still, even though his wife's dead, he's still wearing his wedding ring. I thought that, but, and then all of a sudden, the whole, he talks to this mother and daughter. No, first he goes and talks to after he's been exposed, he then mentions a name, and this woman and daughter, go, oh yeah, and the daughter goes, this was my little brother. And the mother's like, and basically everything seems to go in well, and then all of a sudden he's grabbing his head and going, saying a name, somebody please accept this, and it's apparently causing him, it looks like a lot of pain. And so then they cut to commercial, they show everything goes black and white, and which I love. And then he goes and sits down, and the producer comes over and slaps him on the back, and all of a sudden he starts coughing. And they bring out Carmichael Hunt. Like I said, Carmichael is a former magician turned skeptic. And he basically sees through it, and he starts insulting him as a fake. He goes, something? You're a fraud, you're a liar, and so am I. The only difference between us is I at least am honest about being a liar. And so all of a sudden, pours water on him. He goes to walk away. He's trying to leave. He can't get out, and then he just starts vomiting. Like what? Can't it doesn't? I'm not sure if it's supposed to be blood, but it's black. And you can see something's going on. He's getting like something's clearly going on. He's like coughing up this, spitting out this black stuff, and you can see his veins are starting to bulge out of his neck, and he collapses. And so they go and get him, and then they find out he died. Yeah, during one of the commercial breaks, the producer comes out and tells Jack that Christoph died on the way to the hospital. And that's devastating. As much of a fraud he was, he didn't deserve to die. And then we have, the June come out with Lily, Oh yeah, we get the whole thing with Lily is that she was in a cult. And this all has to, I think, this part of the movie with the cult has to do with the satanic panic of the 70s. And also I'd say of the 80s too, because in this whole satanic, there was a daycare in California that got, the mother and son ran. And basically these pieces of shit from the state, basically social services went and claimed that they were, doing the bidding of Satan. There was child sacrifice. The parents were caught up and arrested. And eventually it was exposed for being complete shit. And that the people involved had manipulated these kids to lie to say their parents were part of, being sacrificed to the, devil and being molested and everything. That's why I said I don't put this, possession is crap made up by the Catholic Church to scare people. They had to create an enemy for God. Yeah. So we get Lily come, and I'm going to say everybody's fantastic once again. And Ingrid here really does play Lily great. She's solid as Lily. And then they do the whole thing. June's like, I don't want it. Lily's like, let's do it. So, and Carmichael's watching all this, and he's very much a skeptic, and he's like, he wants to interrupt, and she says, so what happens is they go through the whole thing, and if she really pulls off like that she's possessed, she's like doing all this motion, and all of a sudden her head tilts up, and it looks like she's got this weird expression, like definitely something's wrong. And then she's starting to talk to June and goes, he's here. In this, but clearly, I don't know if it's her voice, supposed to be someone, this Mr. Whiskers, as she calls him. A take on The Exorcist, by the way. Yes. Because, the whole thing with Whiskers or Mr. Howdy, it's supposed to be a demon that's possessed her. And basically through this goes, he's here. Who? Jack. And looks right at Jack and it's like, it's been a long time, Jack. He goes, I don't know you. He goes, sure you do. You remember the woods? Why did you, what did you do, Jack? Why didn't you, stop it? It's hinted at, he went to the Bohemian Grove, which there's a lot of, stuff about that whole thing that deals with rich, powerful people. It might deal with the occult or whatever. But it's hinted at that Jack's success came at the expense of his wife, that he allowed her to be sacrificed. And that comes up as the movie's going on. You get this hint that Jack at the Bohemian Grove, he made a contract for his success by sacrificing his wife. Yeah. And so they go through this whole thing, levitation, everything, and then, they come back and it's like, everyone believes, and then we got... Carmichael goes, this is BS. And before this, he goes and talks to them where they reveal that June had paid them, for, whole thing with Christoph, is that they were paid to pretend that, by June. So then Carmichael, he sits and waits, they say, wait, let them, and so he waits, and then he goes, let me show you how this was done. It's fake. And he goes to expose the whole levitation. So he gets Gus to sit down in the chairs opposite each other, and then he pulls out this watch. it's a pocket watch, but he shows it and then he turns it around. It's got a thing that allows someone to hypnotize you. So he hypnotizes everybody that wasn't already hypnotized. He said, I got most people hypnotized. And he makes it look like, he goes, oh, you got, suddenly he asks Gus about why he doesn't like worms. He goes, because they have no eyes, no arms, no legs, and they're slimy. And he goes, okay. So then he mentions, he starts going like this, taking his coat off, like things are getting itchy. And he goes, looks like you got a cut on your neck. So it looks like we see a worm. He's like, what the? Then he's ripping his innards open, and out spills all these worms. And then his eye, and then all of a sudden he makes it look like he's having trouble snapping out, and then he goes, and awaken, and everything stops. They look back at the video, and you see what's really going on was the whole time Carmichael was telling Gus that you hear this noise. Everybody didn't realize that Carmichael was basically, it wasn't power. He was telling him, you're this weird sound and everything, and you have, and worms, you're gonna pull worms out, all this stuff, and everything he says he's doing, basically exposing that June had basically hypnotized people, and she tries to down and say, no, I didn't do that. And of course Lily's laughing her ass off and looking like she may actually have been legitimately possessed because of the whole thing with Jack. And yeah, and then, things go to real shit because suddenly Lily's head, and it looks like she's completely possessed and has telekinesis to the point that when Gus she snaps his head backwards and kills him. Without giving away the ending, this is spoiler territory for those, I won't give away probably the exact ending for a bit. But then Carmichael goes, oh my God, he's praying, and she basically sort of looks like she's melting his head or whatever, and then he collapses. She slits June's throat, and then we're left with Jack. And some, weird shit goes on where it looks like we're seeing back in the past. Jack's taken off stage and suddenly he's back on the talk show and it's way in the past. And it's like, he's going, how did I get here? And then next thing is his wife is doing a skit they did where she's a cave woman, and he's like, and basically swears, and she's like, that's not in the script, and he walks off. And we get to the point where the whole thing with the Bohemian Grove and everything, the part about his wife, that sacrifice, looks like he did. He sacrificed his wife for his wealth. And God, did I tell you how great this movie is? It is everything. It reminds me of when I was a kid, because I was born in 1971. So this was 6 years after I was, the story takes place 6 years after, when I was 6 years old. So yeah, I remember Johnny Carson back in the day. Yeah, no one could beat him in the TV ratings. So the part about, and this brought in the Satanic Panic, and also the part with the cult and everything was a lot like what happened in Waco, Texas with the Branch Davidians, who were killed by the government because, and here they hint out that, the government showed up, and the FBI and the ATF showed up because they had a bunch of guns, and they may or may not have sacrificed kids. Like I said, this has to do with Satanic Panic, and apparently because we know in the Waco, they tried to say that, they set themselves. No, they caused these people to die. Here, they make it very clear that these people set themselves on fire, and unlike where the Waco, Texas, where this took place was not near anyone else. The compound that the Branch Davidians, but in this movie, it's in a neighborhood, and the house burns and everything, and they find Lily. Yeah, that's part of that Satanic Panic that went on where, oh my God, Satan's trying to take the children. all that shit that basically ruins people's lives. It's like the same witch trials or the the Spanish Inquisition. It's this whole made up concept by the Catholic Church to make everyone freak out. Oh my God, look. It's like the whole thing when you say, oh my God, the Muslims are all terrorists, they're going to kill us all. It's that shit that really irritates me. So, yeah, and now I'm going to say spoilers. Because we get to the point where, yeah, like I said before, it may have been that he sacrificed, and it does sort of play that it looked like he really did sacrifice his wife because, he kneels down, he says, drink, and they have this person dressed as an owl, and it's like he's talking about sacrifice, and you made the sacrifice, and then they show his wife in bed, and she's definitely dying, and she begs him to end her suffering. And so he takes the knife and he stabs her. The problem is he comes to, and it's actually he just killed Lily. And he stands up and goes, sleep or awake. As you hear, you see the others dead, the neck turned around and everything. The part with Lily, he was hypnotized. Or was the whole thing, did he kill all these people, himself? Because he definitely killed Lily. But he thought he was putting his wife out. He was tricked under hypnosis to stab Lily through the heart. So he may have been the one that killed this whole time. And that's why people were running when they see Jack commit the murders. He doesn't know he's committing. Like, June slit in her throat. Because, yeah. And breaking the neck, that's a little hard to do. But killing Gus by turning his head backwards. And then, the hard part to believe is what happened to Carmichael, because he looked like he was melting. His face was melting when he died. So, could it have been that Jack was simply tricked into killing Lily? That's kind of what the ending leaves at, is that did Jack kill everyone? Did he? We know he didn't kill Christoph because he was dead in the ambulance, as it's told to Jack by his producer. Tells him, oh yeah, by the way, just to let you know. And yeah, he reveals, Christoph died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. But see, when we see Lily and she's stabbed, her head's normal. So this is where the ending really plays a trick on you. I said I recommend this. I saw it twice. I put subtitles on the second time so I could hear everything. But yeah, the whole thing is really masterfully done as far as what the heck. Yeah, this is the Bohemian Grove. You can read up on it. But yeah, this movie is, and this is on right now. You can get it on either Shudder or AMC Plus. But here's the trailer. Here comes the trailer for this movie.
We are back in 5, 4. Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Darrow.
Yeah.
Oh, good evening, Night Owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again.
I'll say right now, what's amazing about this trailer is it shows you things, but doesn't give you, it's called Late Night with the Devil, so the devil's supposed to show up. And ironically, this is the same year that, like I said, Star Wars: A New Hope came out. But I was 6 years old when this part of the story takes place. So,
Night Owls,
yeah.
We've got a heck of a show in store for you tonight, and I'm very excited for you to see it all unfold before your very eyes. I really hope you love it. Gosh, I hope you love it. Please love it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and it's basically he's desperate for the ratings to go up. That's another thing about this, is he's really can't beat Johnny Carson, and so he does everything to, his contract. They mention his contract's coming up, and so he needs a win. So this is why he's doing this whole Late Night with the Devil, which is the title of the movie.
I'm trying to host national syndicated.
See, and look at this is behind the scenes, like it's a documentary we're watching of what happened that night. And I do love the fact they do when they go to commercial, everything goes to black and white, so you can see what goes on a talk show, late night talk show, behind, when they're not being filmed. So, and yeah, David Heers fantastically carries this movie.
Talk show. And I'm trying to help you keep it on the air.
We all know how important it is to keep our sponsors and affiliates happy, but in my humble opinion, there is only one person who really matters in this whole darn crazy business. And that is you, our viewer.
You're meddling with things you don't understand.
Whoa! Now, as you know, here on Night Owls, we think it's very important to keep an open mind. Please welcome Dr. June Ross.
Okay, that's June, and this is Lily. This actress is so good that when you see her, being possessed, it's like, oh wow, she has a whole thing where it looks like her body's being changed by the possession, which you don't see that often in movies where physically the body goes through a change. Here, when she's in the chair, it literally shows like her body contorting and stuff to signify that she's being possessed by either the devil or a demon she calls Mr. Whiskers, which I said comes from The Exorcist because of Captain Howdy. So, yeah. And both have a young, she's obviously older than, Reagan was, but still.
Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
I really don't think it's a good idea, Jack. It's becoming more unpredictable.
That's a good thing. That's why we still do live TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
Yeah. And that's right. You can't take your eyes off this. You want it. Most people probably watch it, have seen it more than once because it's that good of a movie. I get why people saw this and talked about it, went to theaters and saw it, because damn, is it really fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite. I've got a couple of movies I'm going to be talking about, but this one, it just stuck with me. It's really that good. The acting is fantastic. Yeah, and give it to them for putting on a really good movie that really sticks with you. And watch this. See, look at this. Her body contorting. See that? That's supposed to be this. And see, I love how they show yeah, it's supposed to signify she's being possessed. Most movies didn't do that. Whole thing with the body contorting. Only other movie I saw where they did that was the Cleansing Hour, which is also on Shudder. But yeah, I checked that one out too. It's actually really good too. Yeah.
Lily, can you hear me?
So easy.
Great to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.
Yeah, right there. That is what's. Yeah, it's like, oh shit. She said, yeah, give it. Yeah. It is. It really is like Rosemary's. No, because in Rosemary Baby, she is possessed. It's more like Exorcist meets Network, not Rosemary's Baby, because Rosemary's Baby dealt with Rosemary being pregnant and the devil trying, being the father of her baby. But this is like take Network and add the Exorcist and to a point of the possession part. That's the part, Yeah. So
This isn't about ratings anymore. No one's going anywhere.
How could you let it happen, Jack? How could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room.
And so, yeah, that part where she says, how could you let that happen? Like I said, it's implied that he made the sacrifice his wife for his wealth. That's why his wife died of cancer, because they do point out, Mike Irons says that she died of terminal cancer even though she never smoked, which means she had lung cancer. Very few people who never smoke can get lung cancer. And there's people that smoke most of their life that never get lung cancer. It's really weird how that works. But yeah.
To see. You okay, Dad? It's profoundly disturbing and shocking.
Get out there, Mr. Midnight. Did you knock him dead?
Yeah, so that's the movie. I just wanted to show that. And so yeah, this is, like I said, fantastic movie. People should watch it. It's on Shudder or AMC Plus if you have, and Shudder is on AMC Plus. So I have both because I like the Shudder TV, which is they show you don't have to go to. Plus, yeah. So I recommend this. Highly recommend this movie. I've never really done a review this deep on a movie that I actually enjoyed. Yeah. So this is Gilgamesh. I will talk to you later. Bye.